Hello, this is Lukonianlogic here. On this series, we'll be discovering some of the world's best avatar creators, digital fashion designers, and VTubers from across the metaverse and beyond. I'm here with Maple Yuudachi, or Maple, as your friends call you. So tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get involved in VR originally?
So what originally got me into VR is that I had a friend from a friend group who kind of just told me about there's this game called VRChat, and I'd already seen it a lot around on YouTube, a lot of different videos, and I knew about it, but I hadn't actually ever gotten into it myself. So, but that convinced me to try it out. Hop onto desktop a bit, and I was like, yo, this is pretty cool. A lot of people running around doing their own thing, and I think that was in August of 2019, and I started playing it a bit then on desktop. I got hooked, and a couple of months later I bought my first VR headset, and ever since then I've been frequenting for basically every single week.
So were you a gamer beforehand, or was it really more just this is your first experience?
I've always been interested in games pretty much my whole life. Always been playing games, Game Boy, Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, the whole shebang. And then I got my PC, and then it kind of just went even further. So always been pretty into gaming.
I really love your avatar, by the way. So who designed this one?
This one was made by Rennie, if I recall correctly. Normally I kind of go a bit between female and male avatars, but this is one of the few male avatars that I actually kind of vibe with. So yeah.
What attracted you to this particular avatar?
So a lot of the things with I want to call them normal e-boy avatars, as the community would call them, is that they're really super buff, super big and strong and all of that stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, this one is also pretty muscular, but I find it to not be too over the top, and it also fits with my IRL style as well. Tech wear stuff, I really love it. I have a decent amount of tech wear clothing by myself in real life, so yeah, it kind of fits along with my style pretty well.
And this the tattoo that glows that feels so cyberpunk. I love that.
Big shout out to Rennie for making this.
And so you also design stuff for marketplaces, right? You have I saw on your site that you have some accessories that you've been creating.
So that all kind of started off as more of call it a joke. I had a friend who I was around a lot, and he joked hey, there's this one thing, diamond testers, very, very niche thing, and we were yo, there's no diamond testers on VRChat. Why don't you make one? I'm I don't know how to make stuff. And I was oh, but just do it and learn. I was you know what? Sure. So I sat down, had no clue about anything with Blender, Unity, nothing about that at all. But I just kind of sat down and learned, and before it's after a couple of months, I managed to make my first asset, which was a diamond tester, which by my standards now, pretty, not really that good, but that's kind of what got me into it. And ever since then, I've been a lot more interested in creating stuff. So I've tried to focus on creating stuff which isn't really in the game from before. Hence why I make not that much typical stuff so far. I kind of just look for stuff which isn't really on the market, and that I also have an interest in myself, and then I go ahead and create it. But I'm still big in the learning process, so I'm also making some more normal stuff per se.
But what are some of the challenges that you end up facing?
So one thing is that there's a lot of the technical challenges. How do you go about creating this, for example, this piece of clothing or this asset, and then you need to texture it. If it's something which looks a bit different, you might need to sculpt it or do a lot of different things to actually form the actual thing you're making. So those are parts of the technical challenges, which is still a big part for me because I'm not experienced at all when it comes to 3D creation. I'm still a lot into the learning process. But some personal challenges is that I can be pretty lazy sometimes, and I also, I'm a full-time student and I also work part-time, so it's also about finding the motivation and time to actually sit down and start doing stuff, which is the biggest hurdle for me personally. But
I totally get that.
Once I actually just kind of jump into the program and start doing stuff, it usually goes pretty well.
I had that experience building my first world. Like, it's so basic, it's so embarrassing, but at the same time, I was so proud of it. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to keep making more, but it's finding that time to like carve out to spend hours in front of the computer, for the details. But
Yeah, that's the thing. But it's so fulfilling. That's the thing. It's really satisfying to actually like look at something and like, hey, I made this. It's really, really good feeling. In regards to creation, I would say that one of the biggest problems that this game has is the security when it comes to people making avatars or such, because it is very easy for people to just rip avatars and people share them and upload them when they're not allowed to, because as a creator, seeing your work kind of just stolen away from you and people don't, pay due respect, because people put in countless hours into making all this stuff. And when people kind of just yoink that out of nowhere, it's very demotivating. So I would say like one of the best things which could be implemented into like this whole game and community as a whole is like a better security system for avatars and assets and whatnot, and for the player base in general. How to do that, I have no idea, but to just kind of wave a wand and have it happen would be amazing.
so what about VR chat and all this socializing online and in VR? What do you think is attractive to people? Why do you think they do that instead of going out in like the real world and socializing?
Speaking a bit from personal experience, in real life, I'm a pretty introverted person, and I think that also goes for a lot of other people. And I find that this game is a lot. It's more of a safe space, where it's this whole aspect of like having your actual self kind of like hidden behind another persona or an avatar, which makes it a bit more easier to kind of like let loose and be yourself in here. Because also like if you feel like you do something weird or there's people you don't fit with, you can also just kind of go somewhere else. It's a very non-judgmental environment most of the time. It's very easy to like kind of disconnect from it if you don't feel comfortable. But at the same time, it can have a lot of the fulfilling like social experiences which you can also have in real life. And that is personally why I'm very attracted to this, because the people here are also very like-minded. Nearly everyone who plays this game, plays other games as well. So you fit in pretty well with the people who are already here. So Void Club by itself is a dance club and also just a social club. So we host events where people can come and like hang out, chill, enjoy dancers, watching them dance, and pretty much just have a great time. So I'm actually an event executive. So what that means is that I have the overhead responsibility in like some areas of the club. So what I do as an event executive is that I kind of have the overhead responsibility of the events, the staff, recruiting people. I'm kind of like a jack of all trades in that regards. And I also am responsible for like the dance instructors, since I am one myself. So nice. I also have the responsibility around that area.
How did you find your community? Like, how did you find your people in VR?
I can say that I find my community like through Void Club and all of the people that I met through there. And it's the kind of case of like, I had a friend who introduced me to this friend, that kind of thing. But I found this club and I got really engaged into it. And through the club, I met other people who also introduced me to other like friend groups and communities who are like really, really nice people. I met a lot of people in this game who mean a lot to me, and also people that I've actually met up with like in real life who, I've physically been with as well. So it's a really fulfilling sensation to actually like find your community and your people in this game. And to do that, you just gotta put yourself out there and, get to know people. That's the way to do it.